Chapter 1. I always hoped it will someday make sense. As I lay in the dark, feeling my body almost in shreds, I was drenched in what I concluded had to be my blood. I felt the pain through every fiber of my being, and it was intense. Alas, the pain I felt was not from an injury or an accident. It was the painfully familiar feeling of my heart breaking yet again into even smaller fragments. I was bleeding, but that was not why I was wet, because my bleeding was not on my skin, but deep inside my soul. And what I thought was blood was a mixture of sweat and tears. The pain ran deep and wild, not just because of what had just happened, but because it was a place I had been so many times and had desperately hoped I would never find myself again. But here I was, facing the same monsters all over again. Yet, for some reason, I could not tell why, but this felt worse. It was dark around me and within, and every sound was magnified in horror that made what I was feeling even worse. As I tried to figure out what to do next, I just found myself running down another alley of pain, because literally every single thought that crossed my mind as a possible solution was something I had done many times before. It was like starting out with a hot bath on a cold morning, and the shower suddenly starts pouring out cold water. The initial pleasure of the hot water only gave way to a sharper pain, and in a sense, amplifying it. I just left myself to cry, and crying felt really good for the moment. Like everything else, one thought crossed my mind that immediately turned that pleasure into pain. Somewhere in between sobs, I just wondered what kind of life I was living, where my most pleasant moments were in my tears. How could I be alive and only be finding joy inside my pain? The very nature of the contradiction was both painful and humiliating. It was at that point that I saw something that scared me even more than every other thing I had been through. As the realization that I was letting my tears become an unhealthy refuge dawned on me, I also noticed that the pain I was feeling significantly grew stronger. This seemed to be the perfect summary of my life. The fact that my pain seemed to have this insane ability to increase itself. No, even more scary was the fact that it almost looked as if I had this weird ability to create more pain out of just about any experience, pleasant or unpleasant. What a talent to have, I thought to myself. And it even felt funny for a moment, but only for a moment, because just like thousands of thoughts before it, I found myself again feeling bad that I was feeling good about feeling bad. So once again, the pain only grew after a brief respite. It was at that point I realized why I was feeling particularly bad at that time.